Hello, I'm Erik Robey.
And I'm Karla Schaffer, and this is Anne Arundel County Week in Review. Today we'll tell you who wants to be a county councilman, and we'll see who wants to be the next Annapolis Idol. Making headlines this week, we want to first congratulate longtime county employee who's making a difference in the fight against cancer. Mary Lamb and our Office of Traffic Engineering held her third fundraiser for Johns Hopkins Research at the Annapolis Elks Lodge and raised more than $8,500 through ticket sales and a pretty impressive auction. Mary is a cancer survivor herself who had a brain tumor removed in 2009 and has since been cancer-free. She also organizes the annual Christmas Angel charity drive for youth in need each year that seems to get bigger and bigger every year. The latest fundraiser pulled in more than 300 people, and we hear the food and the company was great. And attention Ravens fans, there are 8 items left from the silent auction. They have some great autographed photographs, although we're sure none of them are from Billy Cundiff. If you want to find out more, you can call Mary at 443-336-6445. Great job, Mary, and thanks for everything you do to help others.
Well, I guess it's too bad Mary doesn't have any of those autographed Cundiff pictures. They might go for a bundle, folks, although I'm not sure many people would use them as artwork, if you know what I mean. Well, we also want to update you on a previous guest of the show. Remember, we had John Williams on here from Facebook to talk about Anne Arundel County breaking news and events. Well, the Williams family has been busy. John's wife, Katrina, has published a calendar to promote local businesses. It's called The Playful Pinups of Pasadena. Yes, Karla, don't worry. I wouldn't say it if it wasn't a family show. And it's a family calendar, folks, so don't worry. You don't need to make your kids turn away from this one. The calendar features a personal favorite style of photography for Katrina, who also is a freelance photographer for the Maryland Gazette. She was able to convince 12 local businesses to sponsor photos for each month of the year with local women as the models. If you'd like more information about the calendar, send an email to Katrina Kraus at mac.com or check out her website at katrinakraus.com. And of course, she's also on Facebook.
Well, this week's story of the General Assembly is once again the budget, and everyone is watching to see what impact the governor's proposal will have on county taxpayers. Dave Abrams joins us once again from the State House with more. Dave?
Thanks, Erik and Karla. Well, these halls are about to fill up once again for the Maryland General Assembly, and we're entering week 3. I'm here with Delegate Steve Shue from North County, and Delegate, thanks for being on the show with us.
Thanks for having me.
Let's see, we have a lot to cover, and we'll try and do it quickly. First of all, the governor released his budget last week, and people are poring over the budget books trying to figure out what's there, what's not there. What's your general impression of what's in the budget this year?
For the 6th year running, the state of Maryland faces an enormous budget deficit, and this year it looks like we're about $1.5 billion short of where we need to be, and that is a result of this state government's persistent habit of spending more than it brings in taxes and fees. The governor has put his proposed solution on the table in the form of his budget. What he is recommending is $400 million of new taxes and fees, $500 million of transfers and raids on various savings accounts, and about $600 million of what he describes as cuts, but which in fact are not cuts in any common sense meaning of the term. What we are really being asked to do is simply slow down the rate of growth of state spending by $600 million. The sum of those figures is $1.5 million, and if adopted by the General Assembly, would balance the books. That being said, it's clear that this is just the first shoe to fall in the tax area. That $400 million is probably just the beginning. It is very likely that we will be asked to consider and will consider a very substantial increase in the gasoline tax, as well as a range of other taxes, potentially including an expansion of the sales tax to services that are currently not taxed under Maryland law.
That's a lot. We just covered a lot there. Give people an idea. It's a 90-day session. We're in week 3. Kind of where are we in the process? What's going to be happening this week and going forward?
Up until about now, things have been in the preliminary phases, a lot of pomp and circumstances, people getting reacquainted after the interim period when we were all in our communities. Now the battle is really joined. All of the major issues of this session are now on the table and clear for all to see. This General Assembly will deal with probably a historic level of tax increase proposals. We will be dealing with the very difficult issue of same-sex marriage. We will also be confronted with legislative redistricting, which is always a very difficult and challenging issue. And finally, the governor seems determined to push forward with a very uneconomic and fiscally, I believe, irresponsible proposal to develop windmills off of Ocean City.
Windmills?
Offshore wind power.
I see. And what's your opposition to that proposal?
The cost per kilowatt hour of offshore wind under current technology is at least double the cost of conventional forms of energy, and much more expensive than any other form of alternative energy, including solar. When it's all said and done, my analysis suggests that ratepayers will be asked to foot a $3 to $4 billion extra cost.
Wow.
As a result of this proposal of the governor's. What that means is every family in Maryland will end up having to bear something on the order of $1,500 of penalty over the life of the project.
Wow. Has anyone, I guess it's still too early to be able to boil this down to what kind of impact we're talking on the average taxpayer or citizen, but it sounds like it's adding up.
Well, as I said, I believe it's on the order of $1,500 or thereabouts.
I mean, for all
per
the tax and
household.
Fees.
Oh, not beyond wind. Yes.
Yeah, everything.
If you add it all up, I think we're probably looking at something in excess of $1 billion of new taxes and fees. That will amount to about $400 to $500 per family per year for many years to come.
Now, this isn't the most exciting issue, but I did want to bring up the teacher pension issue. I think for the average person, you know, aside from the debate over who should pay for it, et cetera, I think the bottom line is that this is going to be over $20 million that's charged to Anne Arundel County. Is that sort of the main lightning rod issue budget-wise for the county, or what issue do you think you're going to focus on to attack here in the budget that would be the most impactful to residents, if you had to pick one? There's a lot.
Well, the taxes that are being put on the table for consideration this year are certainly going to be the most impactful for Maryland families. But for Maryland teachers and state employees, the most significant item is, as you suggest, the request by the governor that counties pick up a portion of the cost of teacher pensions. This is currently a cost that is borne entirely by the state. We are the only state in the union, to my knowledge, in which those costs are handled entirely at the state level and not shared in any respect with the counties, even though they are county employees. So the logic of having the counties share in that cost is unassailable. It is probably the right thing to do from a policy standpoint at the right time. I think the issue and the concern that we have here in the General Assembly is this the right time to do it? When counties are all struggling to make their own budgets balance, maybe this would be a move better made in different economic times.
Well, Erik and Karla, Delegate Shu is on the Economic Matters Committee, so obviously he's got a lot of work to do in this session, and we'll be back in prior week and successive weeks to talk about what's going on down here in Annapolis. So back to you, Delegate Shu. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Thanks, Dave. Well, windmills and taxes, those are two words you don't often hear together, and we'll have more for you as the session continues.
Last week we told everyone about the council removing one of its own. Now the council is seeking applicants to fill the seat formerly held by Darrell Jones of District 1, which includes Severn, Linthicum, and Brooklyn Park. If you're interested in applying, you have until February 10th to do so. There are a few qualifications applicants must possess. They must have been a registered Democrat in the district for at least 1 year, be at least 25 years old, be a resident of District 1. I would say this is an unusual process, but this is actually the third time the council has had to appoint a member in the last 4 years, albeit for different reasons. The 6-member council appointed Trish Johnson to replace Councilman Ed Riley when he became a state senator, and Chuck Farrar when Josh Cohen was elected mayor of Annapolis. The council will officially conduct public interviews and select the member at its meeting on February 16th. You can watch the meeting live right here on this channel at 7 p.m. on Comcast Channel 98 and Verizon Channel 38. If you have any questions, please call 410-222-1401 or you can go to www.aacounty.org and click on County Council. Only one person has applied formally, although the Maryland Gazette reports that former State Senator Mike Wagner and Middle Eastern War veteran Louis Barkley may also join the race.
Well, there's more Week in Review to come, including our interview with an organizer of Annapolis Idol. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm County Executive John Leopold. Accidents caused by drunk driving can be prevented. Only you can make the difference. Drink responsibly and always buckle up.
On average, every month, 22 Marylanders die as a result of drunk driving crashes.
We don't want to be the designated driver for drunk driving crash victims.
But if you choose to drink and drive, we will find you and provide you with a free ride.
Make the right choice, drive sober, and always buckle up.
Designate a sober driver, or
we'll designate one for you.
And welcome back, folks. Well, all of us from time to time have some conflict that can occur in daily lives, in many different aspects of our lives. But thankfully in Anne Arundel County, we have a great organization here, a nonprofit group, a 501c3, the Anne Arundel Conflict Resolution Center. And we brought Amanda Fegley in from the Conflict Resolution Center to talk a little bit about the Conflict Resolution Center, of course, and your big fundraiser coming up, the Annapolis Idol. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here. The Conflict Resolution Center is a place where we provide mediation services for people, individuals, families, communities who are having difficulty resolving some aspect of their lives. And we are happy to provide Conflict Resolution Center, we're going to have to change all that, conflict resolution services, including mediation.
Sure.
In a very confidential and secure environment.
Well, Amanda, give us an idea about this center and about the mission of the center. I mean, this is a group that's been around for a while, supported by the county. County Executive Leopold's always been a big supporter of Conflict Resolution Center. I know our staff sends some folks, refers some folks over to you guys from time to time. But tell me, if I'm a neighbor, if Karla and I live next door to each other and we're feuding. We're having big problems because she's a Patriots fan and I'm a Ravens fan. Just kidding. But because maybe she has a fence that she's built that I believe is too tall, that I believe obstructs my view of the water. Is this an area where the Conflict Resolution Center would get involved in? Give me an idea of some of these.
Absolutely. In fact, very often two people, let's say neighbors in your particular case, simply cannot come to an agreeable resolution just among yourselves. So you would call us at the Conflict Resolution Center. We would take in all of your information and set up an opportunity for the two of you to come in, meet with trained mediators, as I mentioned, in a confidential setting, and we help you facilitate your own resolution, something that is agreeable to both parties. And if and when you can come to resolution, you can write up an agreement and then follow up from there, having come to these ideas, resolutions effectively on your own with us as facilitators.
Great.
And Amanda, as a trained mediator, how important do you think it is to have this in our community, and what do you do to kind of facilitate that process?
I think it's fundamentally important. If you think about conflict as a greater concept, what better tool can individuals have or parties have than understanding how to communicate to come to resolution. Therefore, I believe that the Conflict Resolution Center is a wonderful resource for everybody in this area for free to learn how to manage conflict and come to an agreeable solution.
So besides the actual issues, when actually someone comes with a problem, is there training, is there seminars that the Conflict Resolution Center puts on in the community?
There is a lot of outreach, in fact, in the community, not only in the schools, helping to facilitate IEPs, individualized learning programs. We have also established a program in the local jails to help inmates manage as they enter back into the greater society outside of that setting. And certainly we are available to help an organization to train their members and to help, for instance, with anger management and just absolutely, we have those various programs.
Good. Well, a big fundraiser's coming up, Karla. Now, I know I wasn't invited to be a part of the Annapolis Idol.
Are you kidding? There's still auditions going on, Eric.
No, they don't want me. They don't want me. They've heard me sing. That they'd have to put me through conflict resolution with you and anybody who heard me if you want me to come down there and sing. But this is a big fundraiser for you guys. I'm excited for it. This is your sixth year?
This is the fifth year.
This is the 5th year that you guys have been doing this. Tell us a little bit about it. What's on tap? What are we going to see different this year?
Okay. This is called Annapolis Idol, and it is in fact fashioned after the American Idol. Model, and we decided as our annual fundraiser to have an entertainment contest in addition to a silent auction in a lovely setting in order to raise funds for our center. This year we are holding the Annapolis Idol competition at Wild Willie's on Somerville Road, right across the street from the Annapolis Town Center, across the street from Whole Foods. We are holding 5 consecutive auditions. We are currently through 3 of the 5, and the last 2 auditions will be held next Tuesday, January 31st, and followed by the final audition on Tuesday, February 7th. And we encourage everybody to come out to audition, and we will choose 10 to 12 contestants to compete at the big event, Annapolis Idol 5, on Sunday, March 4th.
March 4th.
Yeah.
Got it.
Also held at Wild Willie's.
So Eric, see, there's still time. There's still time to audition.
Like they said they only have 12 spots. There's 12 beavers that can sing better than me.
Yeah, and it seems like you have some great prizes for the winner of Annapolis Idol.
We do. We have a recording session at a local studio, and the winner will be the recipient of a 50-50 raffle. So we encourage as many people to come out to increase that kitty so that the winner gets to take home a cash prize as well. And there are some other surprise prizes that we're working into the winner's package.
Well, man, it's always exciting, always glad to hear about the good things that's going on at the Conflict Resolution Center. Keep up the great work out there, and good luck in the big Idol contest.
Thank you very much.
Folks, that'll do it for us from here. Conflict resolution, a great asset to the Anne Arundel County community, and a big, big fundraiser coming up on March 5th, the Annapolis Idol. March 4th, Annapolis Idol, down here in Annapolis at Wild Willie's. Stay with us. There'll be more Week in Review when we come back.
It's cold and flu season, and the last thing you want is to be sick or make others sick. So here's what you do to stop germs and stay healthy. Cover your coughs. Wash your hands after sneezing, coughing, or blowing your nose. Wash with warm water and soap for 20 seconds, and then dry. When you can't wash your hands, use an alcohol-based sanitizer. If you do get sick, stay home. Stop germs, stay healthy.
Welcome back. Well, a lot of people are struggling to get by in this tough economy, and this week the Community Spotlight shines a little light of hope. Our own Bea Poulin sat down with an expert on how to get help with your mortgage to avoid foreclosure. Bea.
Today I'm here in Glen Burnie at the satellite office of the Community Action Agency, 117 Delaware Avenue. A few weeks ago on Week in Review, I interviewed the new CEO of Community Action, Ms. Kanaya Sequoia, and we talked about many of the agency's programs, including one called Empowerment Services. Today I'm meeting with Alberto James to discuss the housing program that he runs here at the Glen Burnie site. Thank you, Alberto, for allowing us to take some of your time. I know you've got a very busy shop here.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for coming and doing this interview.
You know, this program is a huge program, and I understand the housing program counsels Anne Arundel County citizens for evictions, mortgage default, homelessness prevention, and first-time home buying. But today we want to focus on what you do best, the foreclosure intervention and default counseling. What does it entail exactly?
Well, my primary objective is to create a situation whereby homeowners have a very soft landing in the foreclosure prevention situation. So we discuss the numbers, we discuss their income, their debt, and proceed with regard to applying for a modification with their servicer.
Is there a service for this fee here at Community Action?
No, there's no fee, and no homeowner should ever pay a fee to apply for a loan modification.
I think that's a big myth in the industry that you have to pay to get this kind of service, so I'm glad to hear that. What type of homeowner should apply for a loan modification?
A typical homeowner that should apply for a loan modification is a homeowner that has experienced, since they applied for their initial loan, if they've experienced a loss of income, lowered income, or someone in the household who's responsible for helping with the mortgage has since lost their job, so they can apply to the servicer for a loan modification of their loan.
What should they do first, and when should they come in for counseling?
They should come in for counseling immediately upon realizing that there's a problem with regard to the income in the household and they're going to have some difficulty paying their monthly mortgage payment.
So don't wait. If you think you're going to have problems making that payment, don't sit around and stew about it or get depressed about it. Find help right away.
Right away. That's one of the challenges that many homeowners have, is that, you know, the tendency is to want to work it out yourself. And before you know it, they're into 6-7 months. Immediately come in, call any housing counselor in the county, but immediately come and request an appointment.
Okay. So are these counseling sessions set up by appointment only, or can you walk in here?
My appointments are set up primarily by appointments because the first intake could take anywhere from 1 hour to 2 hours to put together the income information, assess the situation with regard to what the challenges are for the homeowner, truly assess what the hardship is, because that's what the servicers focus on, your hardship and your ability to pay.
Okay, so that sounds like a lot of paperwork that they need to bring with them, and I'm sure you go over that with them when they make the appointment.
Upon making the appointment, I have a checklist that I go through with the homeowners and request. There are certain basic information that must come in for the first appointment: income information, debt, bank statements, hardship letters, etc., so that we can get off with the application process as smoothly and as quickly as possible, because time is always of the essence.
Okay, so what about the time? How long does a modification take generally?
That's a trick question, Bea. A modification could take anywhere from 3 months to 1.5 years. I think it's getting better. We have an online system now that has helped a great deal. One of the problems we've experienced in the past is the servicers losing paperwork, which created a backlog, homeowners not following up in a timely manner. Mind you, not following up in a timely manner is one of the main reasons why many homeowners in the past did not get a modification, because the banks are on a time frame. And if information is not returned immediately in a timely manner, they have to close that file and move on to the next file. Homeowners are not aware of that, and in their minds, I've already submitted it. Things like bank statements, income information, the servicers and banks want recent information. So part of my job is to educate the homeowner as to the process, their responsibility. And my statement usually to the homeowners is that I do 20% of the work and they do 80%.
Now, what if they get turned down for the modification? What happens next? Is it all over?
Well, at the initial appointment that I have with homeowners, I discuss retention and transition. I get the homeowner ready for all the possibilities so that in the event they don't meet the qualifications because their debt to income ratio is too high, they don't have enough income, and so therefore they get denied. In this state, we have a new law, the mediation law. So anyone who gets turned down for a modification and their situation change, upon receiving the docket to order, which is the legal document notifying the homeowner that the servicer has started the foreclosure process, in that packet is something called the final appendix, the final declaration, and the mediation process will start once the homeowner submits that appendix, that final notice to the court with $50, and the mediation process will begin. They're notified. We set them up. I will set them up with an attorney depending on what their income is, be it low bono or no bono.
So this sounds like a complicated process, but an important one. And it's for citizens here in Anne Arundel County that this office exists. Also, there's one in Annapolis. So depending on where you live, you should come to the Annapolis or the Glen Burnie office. Is that right?
That's right. But I can be reached at 410-626-1900, and my direct extension here is 1200. We have two counselors in Annapolis. Their extensions are 1018 and 1019, and they're capable and fully prepared to also do the same type of counseling that I will normally do with a homeowner. However, either way, call Annapolis or Glen Burnie. We are here. Community Action is here to serve, and it doesn't matter whether you live in Annapolis, Edgewater, Glen Burnie, Severn, wherever you feel most comfortable. Make the phone call. If you're in trouble, make the phone call immediately. Don't wait.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate you giving us this information and helping us better understand how this program works. I know it's helping a lot of people in Anne Arundel County now. We refer a lot of people from the County Executive's Community Services Office to Community Action. A lot of people are looking for help. So if you need help with your mortgage, call Alberto James here in Glen Burnie or Clarence Lee in Annapolis, and we'll post those numbers on our website as well as on the show. But 410-626-1900, extension 1200, you'll reach Bert James. And thank you again for letting us take some of your time. I know you're busy. This is Bea for Week in Review. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Bea. We hope people will take advantage of these services before it's too late. We hear from experts that it's common for people to wait far too long before actually seeking help.
In this week's Hot Topics, the Anne Arundel County Fire Department responded to more than 1,307 calls for service. This included more than 1,021 emergency medical calls and 95 fire calls. A South County family was displaced by a fire in their home, and 12 residents of a Laurel apartment were also relocated when a 3-alarm fire tore through their apartment complex. With us now to tell us more about these incidents is Division Chief Michael Cox of the Anne Arundel County Fire Department. Chief?
Thanks, Karla. The first incident occurred in the early morning hours of Sunday, January 22, 2012, when Anne Arundel County firefighters responded to a reported dwelling fire in the 6300 block of West Shadyside Road just before 1 a.m. The first units to arrive on the scene report fire and smoke coming from a 2-story single-family dwelling. At that time, additional resources were requested and an interior fire attack was initiated by the first arriving crews. In all, it took 35 firefighters from Anne Arundel, Calvert County, and Annapolis City about 45 minutes to bring the 2-alarm incident under control. There were occupants in the home at the time of the fire. However, they did escape without injury prior to the fire department's arrival. Water for firefighting operations had to be drawn from a nearby creek and brought to the scene via tanker trucks. The fire, which caused an estimated $250,000 in damages, remains under investigation. In other events, county firefighters were again called into action just hours after fighting a 2-alarm fire in the Shadyside area. This second incident occurred around 4 a.m. when Anne Arundel County firefighters were summoned to an apartment building located in the 3500 block of Laurel Fort Meade Road in the Maryland City area of the county. Crews responded for a reported appliance fire. When they arrived on the scene, they reported fire and smoke coming from a third-floor balcony of a 5-story apartment building. This incident was immediately upgraded and 2 additional alarms were requested to the scene. In all, it took more than 65 firefighters from Anne Arundel, Prince George, and Howard counties, as well as Fort George G. Meade fire departments, more than an hour to bring the 3-alarm fire under control. There were no civilian or firefighter injuries during the incident. The cause of the fire was estimated to be in excess of $500,000. The exact cause of the fire remains under investigation. However, it is believed to be accidental in nature.
Thanks, Chief. 12 residents were displaced from the numerous damaged apartments. County fire officials advised that the displaced residents were being assisted by management representatives from the Horizon Square apartments, as well as officials from the American Red Cross.
Well, let's travel up Route 2 into Severna Park for this week's Business Spotlight. John Fernay, founder of eyeonannapolis.net, and the Annapolis Facebook page is at Homestead Gardens. John.
Thanks, Erik and Karla. Today I'm real excited to be here at Homestead Gardens, and no, we're not in Davidsonville. We're up here in Severna Park, which is a new location for them. And I've got Tim Hamilton, who is the Director of Marketing for Homestead Gardens, with me today, and he's going to tell us a little bit about Homestead. But I really got excited about this, not only because they're a fabulous garden center, but they do just an incredible job on social media, their blog, their website, and everything else, and it really does attract. They've got more than 4,000 people that are fans on Facebook, I think. And you know, what makes Homestead Gardens tick? I mean, here we are in Severna Park, which is new for you, and how is that working out?
Severna Park's been fantastic. We've been here, this is our 2nd year as of April. We'll be here for 2 years. It's been absolutely fantastic. We've hit exactly where we wanted to be as far as the numbers, as far as the traffic, as far as the customers. We've been embraced by the community. It's been an absolute fantastic thing. I think it's been a big change for us because we thought that it would be very similar to the customer base that we had in Davidsonville, and actually there are some nuances that we really had to get used to. For example, Davidsonville is a destination. So we have the events, and we have you know, the big show, we have the atmosphere that everyone knows as Homestead Gardens. And whereas here on Ritchie Highway, it's, you know, people can come by for a quick visit. They can pick up that bag of mulch, they can pick up that bag of potting soil. So we've had to adjust our inventory, we've had to adjust our approach a little bit and realize that they're a different audience than we have in Annapolis and Davidsonville.
Well, Homestead's known for pretty much the all-inclusive lawn and garden center and home and garden center. Can we get everything that we can get at Homestead down in Davidsonville up here in Severna Park? I mean, do you offer the same services up here as well?
For the most part, we have everything we have in Davidsonville we have here is just to a smaller scale. We have the same plants that we have in Davidsonville. Like right now we have our tropicals that we have grown in-house over at our facilities over in Governor Bridge Road in Davidsonville. So we have our cyclamen, we have our clencho, we have the same tropicals. We have the things that you can stop by and get, like the potting soil and the fertilizers and solution. And then right here, it's empty right now, but we have over your shoulder there, that's our nursery yard. And the nursery yard around this time in the next few weeks is going to be filled with your trees and shrubs and the same things that we have over in Davidsonville. So for the most part, everything we have there, we have here as well. We're doing the same buys for both.
Well, that's great. I know that you guys had a couple of events up here, which was sort of surprised me this year.
Well, we're known for our events. We have in Davidsonville, we have our Fall Festival, we have our Christmas display, the same Christmas display that we have here. But we have you know, all the events like our Edible Gardening Weekend, we have our Perennial Fair, and we're starting to move that direction here. We just had to get a feel for exactly what our audience here wanted. For example, we have our winter workshops that we've had exclusively in Davidsonville, which is every weekend during the winter through March. We have that same here in Severna Park for the customers up here so they don't have to trek all the way down. Which is the point of being here, is that bridge over the Severn River was an obstacle to our customers, and we recognize that, and that's why we moved here.
Right. I see you've got a partnership with Zachary's Jewelers. They're your neighbor. There's a doorway between the two stores so people can buy their plants and their and buy a trinket for a loved one too as well.
The Zachary's family has always been very close with Homestead. Even when we were in Davidsonville, they were really instrumental. Steve Zamaris, who owns Zachary's, they were instrumental in helping us get the flowers downtown, the hanging baskets. So when we had a space next door, we thought, well, we can expand our business, or we can look at a partner business that has the same demographic and the same feel and the same commitment to customer service that we do. So it wasn't even, we didn't approach anyone but Steve, and Steve readily accepted. And he's been doing fantastic here. And he has events here as well. He has his ladies' nights, he has his men's nights out, his cigars and scotch, and he's been very, very successful here.
Any room for expansion? Is Homestead looking to expand into another market or another section of the county at this point?
We will be in the next couple of years. We're going to be expanding. We're looking for another couple locations within the next year or two, and we're actively looking for those areas right now. And down in Davidsonville, you'll be seeing that over the next few months. We're doing all the construction to kind of give it an update, a new look.
I noticed a little bit of that out there.
Yeah, we have. It needed it. We were pushing 40, so we're getting a little bit of face work done. We're doing work to the garage or to the garage. We're not adding a garage. We're doing some work to the parking lot. We're doing bringing some of the walls down. We're expanding the checkout so that you don't have that wait that you might become accustomed to in spring. So a lot of great changes coming over the next couple of months.
Great. Well, again, Tim, I want to thank you for coming out. Thank you for being here with us with Business Spotlight. I do want to compliment you on the Facebook page. You've done a tremendous job. One of my favorite posts was back when they had their tomato festival. He said that Homestead Gardens was giving away $1,000 to anybody that showed up. But of course, you'd have to have the winning recipe and be chosen by the judges. I can't remember the exact thing, but it was just incredible. It was one of my favorites. Thank you very much. And we can find you obviously on homesteadgardens.com, right? And also on Facebook, which is at facebook.com Homestead Gardens.
Excellent. Well, thank you for having me. I really
Tim,
appreciate it. Thanks, John.
Thank you. This is John Pernay for Business Spotlight. Back to you.
Thanks, John.
Well, Mary Felter joins us to talk about a program geared towards seniors with chronic conditions to improve their quality of life. Mary?
Thank you. Today my guest is Pam Toomey, who is the coordinator of a program at the Anne Arundel County Department of Aging and Disabilities. Her program is called Living Well with Chronic Conditions. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mary. It's nice to be here.
I asked you to come today because you're about to launch 5 workshops, one every day of the week, various locations throughout the county, and you're teaching them with the support of several organizations and sponsors. So tell me a little bit about it.
Yes, we're very excited. We're getting ready to launch 5 new workshops, all beginning the first week in February. Of course, we're going to continue our workshops at some of the senior centers. We're going to launch one at Brooklyn Park. Then we're very excited about our partnership with Anne Arundel Medical Center. So we're going to offer 2 workshops there, one in the morning and one in the evening. And then we're also going to do one at the Glen Forest Senior Apartment Complex in Glen Burnie, so we're excited about that. That one's going to take place on Friday afternoons. And then the other one we're very excited about is a new partnership with the Life Center, which is actually a division of Hospice of the Chesapeake. So, and that location is on Defense Highway over by the mall in Annapolis.
And how do you define a chronic condition?
Well, a chronic condition is actually a medical condition that can cause a lot of loss of physical ability over the course of several years. A chronic condition, as we know, is persistent. It doesn't go away overnight, sometimes not at all. It can come on very suddenly, or it can take years actually to get a diagnosis. So there's all different forms of chronic conditions.
And what are the benefits that people will get from taking this 6-week program?
Well, actually, during the course of the 6-week program, we talk about how to manage all the symptoms that go along with a chronic condition. And it seems though, doesn't matter what the chronic condition is, and that can be anything from hypertension to diabetes to heart disease to Parkinson's, the symptoms, a lot of the symptoms are the same. And those symptoms can be the stress and the anxiety and the pain and the fatigue. All of those seem to be very common no matter what the chronic condition is. So during the course of the 6-week workshop, we teach you how to manage those symptoms and get all those symptoms under control.
And are you going to meet every day during the week, or are you going to meet just once a week? Or
the workshops are for 6 weeks, and we meet once a week for 6 weeks, and we meet about 2.5 hours. And everyone says, oh my gosh, 2.5 hours, but it goes very quickly because we cover a lot of different topics during that time.
And it sounds like a good way to start the new year.
It's a great way to start the new year. We'll get you feeling better. And along with that, I know everybody puts together some New Year's resolutions, and during our workshop, we actually get people to set some goals as well about their health. So it can be anything from starting an exercise program to incorporating eating better, maybe incorporating some more vegetables, more fruits into their diet. So we do a lot with New Year's resolutions in our class as well.
The series is evidence-based, and it was put together with Northern California Kaiser Permanente and Stanford University. What is evidence-based?
Exactly. It was a program that was researched and tested by Stanford University. So an evidence-based program means that there's evidence to prove the outcomes. So it's not just theory-based. They actually tested 1,000 different patients, ran them through the 6-week workshop, and had very positive outcomes, and then measured those outcomes at different intervals. So it's, there's results to prove that the program works.
You have a book also that people can read or have in the classroom?
That's part of the workshop. We actually give them a textbook, so it's free of charge. It's about a 360-page workshop, and it does address different chronic conditions in there, but then also talks about how to manage all the different symptoms so that the symptoms don't manage you.
So they can take that home and keep it and use it?
Absolutely. It's a great resource for them to use.
And how much does this course cost?
The course is actually free, and that's in thanks to the Department of Aging and also to our wonderful partners at Anne Arundel Medical Center and Hospice of the Chesapeake. So we're very appreciative of the partnerships that we have with them.
Well, it's unusual to get such a good program free.
It is. It really is.
And if someone wants to register for it, do they call you, or do they find out about it online, or is it in the hospital newsletter? Where is it?
Well, it's actually in the hospital newsletter, so they can register if they go to the Anne Arundel Medical Center's website, which is aahs.org, so they can register there. They can register on our website, but perhaps the easiest way is to just call the Department of Aging and register. And that number is 410-222-4366.
And this all starts February 1st?
Yep, it starts the first full week in February, so we have classes going off Monday and Tuesday morning at Anne Arundel Medical Center, and Wednesday at the Life Center, and then Thursday evening we have them back at Anne Arundel Medical Center, an evening program for the folks that work during the day, and then we finish off the week with our program, I think it's Friday, February 10th at the Glen Forest Senior Apartments.
And what is the phone number that people can call again?
The phone number at the Department of Aging and Disabilities is area code 410-222-4366. I'm on extension 3057 if they want to talk to me and ask me any questions.
Well, thank you very much, Pam, for being on the program today and letting people know about how to live well with a chronic condition.
Thank you as well, Mary.
This is Mary Felter, Public Information Officer for Anne Arundel County Department of Aging and Disabilities, and we've been talking with Pam Toomey, who's directing the Living Well with a Chronic Condition. Back to you.
Thanks, Mary. The Department of Aging and Disabilities has so much to offer for seniors and people with disabilities and the people who help care for them. Well, Erik?
They may need to care for me after this weekend, I'm telling you.
Yeah, they might need to. Big weekend coming up, the Polar Bear Plunge.
The plunge, the
plunge. You're gonna take the plunge.
You know,
for the first time ever.
Our wonderful friends at the Department of Recreation and Parks, Carolyn Ryan, Franklin Cheney, Colleen Josephson, Rick Anthony, everybody over there, Georgette, I mean, they have convinced me that it's the right thing to do to join with Recreation and Parks and go into freezing cold water and donate money to a great cause.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Special Olympics, it is a great cause.
But I got to say something.
Yeah.
I know it's Friday night. Franklin Cheney has told me that he's only going in up to his ankles. So folks, I need a lot of phone calls. I need a lot of emails. I need a lot of encouragement for Franklin to at least go into his knees. I mean, that's not asking for too much, is it?
The Polar Bear Big Toe Plunge.
Yeah, come on.
And how far are you going to go?
I'm going all the way in.
All the way in.
Look, you know what? It's only water, folks. It's only cold.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's not even going to be that cold this weekend.
It's not even going to be
that cold. You might as well, you know, if you're going to do it right.
If you're going to do it all the way,
yeah.
Right? Am I right? I am right. We got some sports to talk about, and I got some Raven stuff to talk about at the end there, too. Good day, sports fans. The ladies own the courts this week as we kick off sports with a little hoop action at Annapolis Area Christian School. The Eagles took on crosstown rival Baltimore Lutheran in a game that would feature two of the top guards in the conference. AACS's Sam Holt lived up to the title, forcing 7 turnovers and recording a game-high 16 points. Taylor Murray and Shannon Greel added 12 points to give the 17-2 Eagles their final home regular season victory for 2012, 60-17 over Baltimore Lutheran. And more good news from AACS is that for the first time in 4 years, this just in, they just defeated St. John's Prep 58-55 to go on to an 18-2 record in the conference. Great job, Eagles. Elsewhere, the Lady Cavs, behind 17 points from Camille Calhoun, knocked off Catonsville 73-31. Jennifer Broussard continues to impress college scouts with her shooting ability, knocking down 5 three-pointers as St. Mary's defeats Institute of Notre Dame 62-35. And despite a strong effort from Chesapeake's Bree Zajic, the Cougars fall to Centennial 47-41. Well, folks, it's been a mild winter so far, but we know that can change quickly in this region. But spring is right around the corner, and it's not far away. Our local youth organizations are beginning spring sports registrations for youth ages 4 to 16. They're typically eligible to participate in baseball, softball, soccer, and lacrosse. So look for more information about sports your children can sign up for and the nearest youth sports organization online at Anne Arundel County Recreation and Parks website. And Karla, it's back.
It's back.
It's back. It's been away for a long time. But
Mascot match game?
No. Mascot match game. It's Stump the Sports Guy.
So that's you.
That's me. So that's right, folks. This is where we get questions in from our viewers. And if you have a question that you want to send in to us, just send your question to eroby@aacounty.org, and we will air your question right here on Week in Review. Well, this week's question comes to us from a new Week in Review viewer from the great state of Texas. Carrie, who lives just outside of Houston in a town called Sheldon and is a Texans fan, but we'll forgive her for that, has been watching our show now for 2 weeks, and she thinks she has what it takes to stump the sports guy. Carrie writes, "Sports guy, you think you're such a smart Ravens fan." You're right, I am. But which NFL team won 3 Super Bowls in 10 years, largely because of their offensive line? And I'll give you a hint. They were nicknamed the Hogs. Well, Carrie, thank you for your kind hint. It makes the answer to this question very easy. First, it's not the Houston Texans or the Houston Oilers. It's that burgundy and gold team that now plays football about 25 miles south of M&T Bank Stadium, the Washington Redskins, who won Super Bowls in 1983, 1988, and 1992. Carrie, thanks for your question, and thanks for watching the show down there in the great state of Texas.
Wow.
We like football questions. Yep. And Raven, and I got that in. Producer Dave is going to like that question.
He will.
Get to talk about Super Bowls.
He wants to talk about the Redskins.
There you go, Dave. There's a Redskin question for you. I wore my purple tie.
Yeah. Still a Ravens fan.
Still a Ravens fan, absolutely. And I tell you, after watching Sunday's game, a lot of people have been down on Billy Cundiff and been down on Lee Evans for dropping those balls, making those mistakes. People make mistakes.
They do.
Even professional athletes, anybody out there in life, people just make mistakes. And you cannot hold those folks responsible forever. You can be mad at them for the game.
Yeah,
you can say, hey, geez, you should have called it. But just like your friends, your spouse, whoever, they're going to make mistakes along the way.
It's also a whole team effort.
It's a whole team effort.
I mean, it all comes down to
Absolutely.
one kick at the end, but there's an entire game, there's an entire season. It wasn't just one kick, right?
That's right.
So how are you coping with the loss, Erik?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Life moves on. It's a game.
That's true.
My little boy didn't talk for an hour after the game, but he's okay now too. He said, the Ravens went home, Daddy. I said, yeah, buddy, they're home. But they'll be back next year.
So are they gearing up for any spring sports? You were talking about spring sports.
Soccer.
I know they're a little young for the ones you were talking about.
No, they love soccer.
Soccer.
Both of them play soccer. They absolutely love it. So they'll be out there on the soccer fields come April. And maybe even the sports guy is going to take back to the softball field this year. We'll see. Well, folks, that wraps up this week's edition of Week in Review. You can watch this episode online anytime at www.aacounty.org. Archive episodes are available at blip.tv and on YouTube. You can also subscribe to the free video podcast at iTunes or like us on Facebook at Arundel TV. Please tune in again next week for more news and highlights from around your county. We'll see you next time.